Hi, Phil Aston here from Now Spinning Magazine with another unboxing video, and this time it's Black Sabbath again. I've covered lots of Black Sabbath on Now Spinning Magazine, on the YouTube channel, on the website, and I've covered all of the deluxe edition box sets, and this is the latest one. It is Live Evil, the 40th anniversary box set, which of course matches the others, but I also have the vinyl version here as well, so I'm going to go through both of them, and I know there's been quite a bit of controversy around this release. I'm going to cover that as well. I'm going to give a very honest opinion of the good and the bad and the ugly of what I think of this release. So first of all, I'm just going to show you what's in this one and what's in that one. So this is a look inside the Black Sabbath Live Evil Super Deluxe box sets, looking at both the 4 CD set and the 4 LP set as well. I'm going to give a summary and my thoughts and an honest review at the end of this section. So this is just looking at the physical product itself. So this is the CD set, and it's exactly the same design as all the others in this series. So if you're looking at putting it on your shelf next to the other boxes, it will fit rather nicely. So as it says on the front here, Live Evil Super Deluxe Edition, featuring the original album newly remastered, 40th anniversary remix by Wyn Davis, 1982 Mob Rules Tour, replica concert book, 60-page book with photos, artwork, and inner notes, 1982 Mob Rules Tour replica tour poster. So inside the box itself, this little leaflet here was attached to the back, which wasn't all of them, so with all of these I've always kept them, and that basically just goes through more details of what's on the little sticker label on the front. There's the book. I'll come to that last, I think. And the tour program, as I'm going to be showing you this twice, I'll just quickly flick through it. So this is the CD box version, so this is an exact copy of the tour program from the time, obviously shrunk down to fit in the CD sized box, which they all have in this series. So it's exactly the same, they're not added or taken anything away. And I do like these tour programs in box sets like this. Then there's a poster, which probably easier to open this one up than the other one, but I'll bring a photograph up over the top of this so you've got a better feel for what it is. But it's an actual poster that was for sale, I think, at the time. And then the albums themselves, the first one is a replica gatefold sleeve, and with all of the Sabbath Deluxe series, the CDs aren't just put into the card itself, but they come with like little anti-static inner sleeves, which is a nice touch. I think more CDs and digipacks should come with that, to be honest. So that's an exact copy, and that's the remastered version. And then the remix has a different design with pictures from the program, I think, on the inside. It's exactly the same track listing, little polythene sleeves on the inside, and that's your box set for the CDs, and on the back it's got the track listings, etc. So that's that. So the booklet itself, I'm going to as I said, I'm going to be showing you the vinyl version as well, so I don't want to kind of take too much time up in case people just want me to do one or the other. Now what I will say is this booklet is bigger than the booklets in the other sets in this series, and it also seems to be more driven by a proper essay rather than the others had a lot of clippings and stuff from older interviews cut and pasted in to tell a story. But I actually think this tells a much better one in many ways, and the memorabilia, you know, that's in here, the way it's been put together, and I'm going to show you, you know, talk about my thoughts when I do my summary at the end. But this is the CD version of the book, hardback book, lots of text, tells a good story, some good memorabilia at the back, again the original gatefold and the tour dates from the tour. So nice sturdy book. So let's move on now for the vinyl version. So just give me a couple of seconds to move, give myself a bit of room, because this is a big box, and I've got all the deluxe sets for Black Sabbath on the CD set. So I've got all of them the same. This is the first vinyl one I've seen. Okay, so again, it's the sticky label on the front basically says the same thing as the one on the CD set, except we're talking about vinyl. Let's push that out of the way. And on the inside is again the kind of big label that was on the back of the box for the CDs on the back of the vinyl box. So I've just put it in the box so I can keep it safe. You know, obviously it's bigger format. I guess the first thing that sticks out, and I'm going to come to this last, is the book, because it's vinyl size, and because it's a more substantial book than the other sets had, it kind of works a lot better, but I'll come back to that. The tour program is obviously the size of the real tour program at the time, and because of that, and also the card, the paper stock feels different. It feels more luxurious, I guess, and obviously because it's bigger, the pictures and the text is easier to read if you're visually challenged like I am, and it feels like the real thing. You've got a tour program for Mob Rules for this tour, Live Evil, and the poster is obviously enormous. So I'm not going to fold this one out, but just give you a sense of the size of it. If I do this, it gives you an idea that this is a very large poster. And then we have the albums themselves. So it's an exact copy of the original Gatefold album. So this is the remastered vinyl. It does come with polyline sleeves, and I've played them all, and the pressings are superb. So that's the first one, exact copy of the original. And then the other one, which is the remix, just empty this out, has the new design, some pictures, the same pictures as on the CD version of the band in the centre, tracks on the back, and again it's in polylined inner sleeves. And that's that part of the set. So I'm now going to show you the book. I know it's more expensive, but this is the first one of these I've seen. And in fact, if I'm honest, it's made me look at the prices of the Technical Ecstasy and Sabotage ones and Volume 4, and to think, you know, because they're about 59, the vinyl ones are about £59 now. And to see the book in this size, and to sit on the sofa while I was playing this, flicking through this, it was a different experience. That's all I'm going to say. So all the press cuttings, everything's easier to read, and it's a very good book for this period of the band's history. So things like here, for instance, you know, in the CD one, it's very hard, you know, to read the text on that, but obviously in the larger album size book, things like that are very easy to scan and absorb, really. But I did think this was very, very good, all the track titles, etc. And interesting that the dates are on the 40th anniversary remix, but not on the original. But I'm going to talk about what I think about this any moment now. So that is the vinyl set for Live Evil, and also the CD set for Live Evil. So let's now have a chat about what I think of it. So there you go. You've had a look inside the CD box set, and you've had a look inside the vinyl box set. The CD one follows the pattern of the others really, really well. The booklet is a bit bigger than the others, but basically it's the same, and it'll fit on the shelf just like the rest of your collection. But there's been a lot of thought, feelings and feedback about these releases when they first appeared. And we have to think about the word Super Deluxe Edition and all this kind of stuff, really. So I'm going to be very, very honest my view on this. I have to say, all of these sets which I've reviewed, and some I've given much better reviews than others, depending on the content, I'm going to do the same with this one. Now, my favourite was Technical Ecstasy, and because I just felt the care and attention had gone to the extra stuff that was in there really, really made a difference. And Steven Wilson's mixes were superb, and on the Vol Volume 4 one as well. This one is coming at you with what appears to be, on paper, to be not a lot extra. And the thing I want to say here for everyone watching, and when I say everyone watching, I'm also including the marketing executives and record companies out there as well. When you release something like this, you have to take into account that a huge chunk of your target audience already has it. In fact, a huge chunk of your target audience probably has more than one copy of it. Now, I know that when you're going back to the early 80s or the 70s, no one in the office was there at the time. We kind of forget, us rock fans or music fans, that we have no sense of time. You know, so when an album comes up with its 50th anniversary, it feels like it was a couple of months ago, especially anything from the 90s, it was yesterday. And so that there's going to be no one in the office to say, what was that like? What was it like back then? And the problem is that lots of people now in modern workplace probably don't stay around very long, or you come onto something like this, like a project, and then you do it for a few weeks and you move on to something else. And so you put something together and you think, well, that'll work. But the fact is that it doesn't always work. And you can't see the people that buy these products as being like just units or just like people on a spreadsheet. We really are passionate about the things we like, and we will spend good money on something that's really, really good. And I do wonder whether, you know, record companies should reach out to people like me and others like me and say, we're thinking of doing the following. And this is what we've got so far. What do you think? Now, some of you may think we might come up with things that are just completely unrealistic. We might, but we're very reasonable. We're very reasonable. Now, this preamble is because this is a classic live album. And maybe we've been spoiled by things like Live and Dangerous, which was recorded over several dates, and it's recently been put in a box with all the dates in that box. UFO, Strangers Night, similar thing. And as far as we know, this was recorded over several nights, and in fact, in the back of the larger book, it gives the dates for the remix on where all the tracks come from. So what were the other tracks that were recorded? Where were they? Was it too expensive to try and find the multi-tracks or the each recording from each night that was used? I mean, could it have been that we could have had the original album, then 3 other albums from the 3 nights, with each gig completely as it was, warts and all, if that was the case, with the original as it was? That probably would have been perhaps more expensive. I don't know. But the expensive is the next thing I want to land on. It's the price point that this box has emerged at. Now, these sets arrived from UK pricing at about £80. All of them did. But of course, you could order them from Rhino via Amazon, exactly the same apart from the little logo at the bottom corner, for about £49. But more weirdly than that, now, if you look online, these kind of sets are around £30 to £40, and in fact the vinyl sets for Volume 4 and Technical Ecstasy are about £59, which to me seems good. In fact, I'm actually tempted to get Volume 4 and Technical Ecstasy as the vinyl sets. I think Technical Ecstasy's 5 LP set, because it's about £60, and I really love the album. This is currently, at the time of doing this review, on at about 120, and the CD set is on at about 100. That is way too much for what's in the box, and also because the others are online for under half that, there's a good chance that people are going to sit and wait. Now, I don't know whether this is limited to about 2,000 copies, in which case, if you really want it, maybe you'll miss it. But of course, the other thing is people thinking, well, what's in it? You've got the original album, I may have that, the original CD from 2004, or the 2-CD deluxe edition from 2010, which is basically exactly the same as that, but on 2 CDs. And in fact, if I'm honest, I actually think the 2004 version, which is an 80-minute CD, is marginally better than the sound on this, but the booklets are different. So how does this sit with this? So I came at this, I have to say, quite negatively. I was actually thinking, how am I going to find something positive to say almost when I looked at what was inside the box? The original album, which I already have. I don't have it on vinyl. Okay, so the vinyl set eases forward there because I don't have a copy of the original album on vinyl. But I do have already 2 versions on CD. And then the only other thing in there is the same album again with exactly the same track listing but remixed. Now, sometimes you can have albums that are remixed and it says they're remixed, and you'd have to sit back and think, is there really anything dramatic in there? Burned by Deep Purple, remixed on the anniversary edition. I can hardly tell any difference. And sometimes, when you have a computer document, you open it up and you haven't done anything to it, but when you go to close it, it says, do you want to save your changes? And you go, yes. You sometimes wonder whether some things that are listed as being remixed, they've just opened it all up, they've stuck it on there, all the faders are all in the same place, and they closed it down and clicked save and said it was remixed. That's very cynical of me. Okay, so I approached this by testing it. How? I put on the original vinyl, well, the vinyl that's in here that says it's the new vinyl remastered, and then I played the remix next to it, and then I played the CDs, exactly the same, the original album remastered by Andy Pierce, and the remix, and then also I played my 2 CD 2010 edition and my 2004 remastered edition as well. And what happened? Well, I have to say, I wasn't expecting to be saying this part of the review, but I feel I need to say it. The remix is absolutely outstanding to me, to my ears. I wasn't expecting it. I thought it was just going to be, maybe it's a bit louder or, but it's not. It's totally different, and it's the remastered vinyl sounds a bit mushy. In fact, I don't know why you remaster vinyl that's from the 80s. I don't feel there's anything to be added to that. And I think I haven't got the original vinyl, but the remastered vinyl, it didn't have the clarity, and I turned it up quite a way to try to feel the power of a Black Sabbath concert, and it didn't quite hit it. The remastered CD of the original album, however, did, and it sounds very, very good. It sounds alive, energetic, powerful, and it beats this, and it beats the 2004 version. So in that respect, the CD box wins there. The remix on both the vinyl and the CD remix are equal. They're both awesome. What is it about the remix that makes it come alive? 2 things. Well, 3 really. I mean, Dio's voice sounds great on all of it. He sounds clear. You realise just what a fantastic voice that guy had. I think playing this has really made me realise just what an awesome talent he was. Anyway, but what makes the remix fantastic is the drums. And the original mix, the drums they're where they are. They're centre stage where you'd expect them to be. They're in the mix, and the definition between the different parts of the drum kit it's not as easy to pick them out. But on the remix it is, because some of the drum rolls are literally left and right speakers as well as the centre speaker, especially some of the drum rolls and things and the different things, and that really, really is deep and powerful, and the mid-range is literally in your chest. And so the drum kit is enormous. And also Geezer's bass on the main track I was doing this on was Sign of the Southern Cross, which segues back into Heaven and Hell, and it's a great one for Geezer's bass, and it's a kind of like muffly merging and melting into the kind of mid-range of the Iommi's guitar and drums and stuff. But on the remix it's not. It's separated, it's alive. You can feel the more treble aspect of Geezer's bass playing, but it's separated, and it's really placed where it should be. I guess what the what the remix has done is create a live album of this version of Black Sabbath that I haven't heard before, and it sounds exciting. And Iommi's guitar is that really deep crunch heavy metal sound. He had his lead playing, which is quite soft, especially in that track I've just mentioned. Everything sits really well, really wide. So the feeling that you are fourth row in the Birmingham Odeon, for me, comes alive to that. So the remix makes this an essential part of a fan of Black Sabbath or Ronnie James Dio or this period of rock music. Essential. The price puts a hold on that currently at the time of doing this video. So if you watch this video in so many months' time and the price has changed dramatically, then all the words I'm saying here, go for it. In regards to the vinyl set, because this is the first one I said I've seen, what makes this special or more connected as a collector of physical music is the size of the box and the size of the book. The booklets are all good in these little sets, but there's something about having something on your lap that's that big that it just feels substantial. I mean, it's well written and it's a good story. There's a lot of all the stories about them, apparently going in after dark and trying to turn each other up. Maybe that's what was wrong with the original mix. I don't know. I mean, it sold really well, this album, but I didn't buy it at the time because there was so much other things buying for my money, looking for my what money I had to buy on stuff, that I kind of just left it. And when I did hear bits of it, I thought it's okay. And even now, when I played it, I thought, yeah, I want to have it in my collection. But it's the same as this. I didn't play the other remasters that often, but the remix, it's a totally different thing. And I do wonder sometimes whether remixing is probably the thing that might overtake remastering, because this was remastered by Andy Pierce in 2010, and this is also being remastered by Andy Pierce. And I wonder whether, if you're remastering something for the second time, no matter what are you going to do differently? What has happened with technology in the last, 10 odd years that's going to make a dramatic difference to an album that was recorded in the 80s? Unless it was studio based, and there's lots of like that kind of synthetic drum sound that we had in the 80s. But in this case, no. So the remaster, yes, it's clearer on the CD in here, but on the remastered vinyl, on my Technics deck, and it's a good system, it doesn't sound exciting to me. This wins, but overall on both sets, the remix is really, really good. So I hope that the pricing for this changes to become more in line with the rest of these. I'm going to say again, even if this was £59 for the vinyl set, for what, some of you quite naturally are going to say, well, I've already got it. So I'm going to spend like £60 on a vinyl version that says it's remixed. That's a lot, isn't it? And you've got to add in the book and the poster and everything. But again, the poster, you're not really going to put it on your wall, are you? And the program's nice, and it is better in the vinyl box because it's the authentic size, isn't it? But the remix is amazing. Maybe it'll get a standalone release, but if it does, it better be some way off this coming out, because again, that will annoy people if they've gone and invested in this. But the missed opportunities are if this was recorded over 3 nights, to have the 3 nights separately on separate discs or albums would have made people queue up to get this. Maybe those multi-tracks are lost. Although, if they've remixed it, that would suggest they aren't. But maybe it was too expensive for the project. I mean, maybe the multi-tracks were lost. Although, if they've remixed it, it doesn't sound like they were. But maybe it was too expensive to track down the other sets, and then the amount of work required to tidy up the tapes and etc., and then it would put more expense on them. Plus then you're putting 4 double vinyl albums in a box instead of 2, and this is already a big box. So there are lots of factors at play here. It's not just a case of us as collectors saying, why didn't they do this? There are probably lots of things at play. But I do think, you know, we have another example here where there are good things in here, not so good, and some missed opportunities as well. If you're a fan of this period, I know also from a couple of people in the Now Spinning Magazine Facebook group have already ordered it because they want it. And me saying that the remix is superb validates that decision. And maybe the price will drop. All of these started off at a really, really high price, and all of them, the price dropped. So I think we can be fairly confident there's a good chance that will happen. And if it does, and this is one of your favourite Sabbath albums, then jump in. And the CD set, as I say, has its benefits as well, in that the remastered CD is the best version so far. Remastering the original vinyl, I'm not sure about that, but the vinyl set has the much bigger book, a better physical experience like that, and the program, and obviously the very large poster, and of course you've got the remixed vinyl album as well, which sounds just as good as the CD remix as well. And of course the albums come in poly-lined inner sleeves, which, as you know, at Now Spinning Magazine gives them extra points as well. So let me know what you think, and be very interested to hear. And again, if you're new to Now Spinning Magazine, tick that little box. Please subscribe so you don't miss out on any of my future reviews. I've got loads of them coming up. If you'd like to support me more, so you get to see these videos in advance of anyone else seeing them, then become a patron or join the YouTube channel as a member, and you'll get to see not only videos before anyone else, but you'll see lots of things that actually never go anywhere else but except to people who subscribe to me at that level. So remember, music is the healer and the doctor, and stay safe everybody. Keep spinning those records, whether they're records or CDs, and I shall see you very, very soon.